Welcome back to Waiting for the O's. I'm Alicia. I love the Olympics and I want to lose 50 pounds before I attend the 2028 Olympic Games.
And I'm Savannah, and I love hearing Alicia talk about the Olympics. And I'm going to lose multiple pounds before she goes to the 2028 Olympic Games.
I like how you're going to lose multiple pounds and not
Yeah, I
just
haven't
one
decided how much yet.
single pound.
I'm going to lose at least 1.5 pounds.
That's a good goal. I like it.
Goal accomplished.
Woo!
Uh,
Okay, so um before we go into the Olympian, I want to go ahead and make a confession because, typically we talk about the Olympian and then at the end we give our updates. And I just want to say, spoiler alert, I did not weigh in because when I woke up this morning, I did not realize what day it was. And like, it was an hour later after I'd woken up. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's a recording day and I didn't weigh in. So sorry for that. But, it was a human moment.
yeah,
Um, and
that's all right. There's
that's all
always
there is
next
to it.
week. Yeah,
Yeah. But we can still talk about other things.
yeah.
But we will talk about the Olympian right now. So this week we're actually going to get back to the hurdles. I know that you really enjoyed when we talked about the hurdles with Babe.
Love a good hurdle.
We're going to talk about some more hurdles. Um, but one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about this particular Olympian is because last month she became a mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is kind of a newer thing in women's sports. I mean, it's not super new at this point, but back in the day, like becoming a mother or getting pregnant, having a child, it was really seen as like a bad thing, and that was
Yeah,
basically like a okay, well, you're going to retire now because who can have a kid and also be an athlete?
yeah,
And now we're seeing more and more women realizing, oh, wait, no, I can have a child and I can
yeah,
come back from that. I can get fit again. I can compete at an elite level. Um, and so this particular person had a baby. And what is especially exciting is that she named her daughter Savannah.
Hey, that's awesome.
So so there you go. You have a little Savannah that you can bond with.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if you'll ever meet her, but
probably
in
not, but
theory, y'all are basically best friends.
yeah, we're like this.
Yeah.
Savannah's unit.
Um exactly. Now she does spell it a little bit different than you do, but tomato tomato, right?
Yeah, same diff.
Yeah. So we are going to be talking about Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, and she is the best 400-meter. Oh, geez, Louise, can't even say that. 400-meter hurdler ever.
I just want to point out that when you said her last name, I was like, I don't think I could repeat that, and then you stumbled over like the easy part. So good job for that last name.
Hey, I got the name, just can't string together anything else. So
Uh,
little do you know, I was practicing the name over and over and over again today. No, I wasn't. I'm a huge fan, so I don't need to practice the name.
okay. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, the
Okay.
best 400-meter hurdler ever. She actually comes from a very athletic family, specifically with track. I mean, both of her parents were track stars. Um, her two older siblings ran track in college. I think her younger brother is on his way in that same vein. Um, but pretty early on, her dad recognized that while while the whole family was athletic and talented, that Sydney was something special,
Yeah.
and he was right about that. So she starts running, and again, 400-meter hurdles, that's her race. Now, the interesting thing with track is that a lot of times you can't fit multiple events in, especially with running. Like there are certain things that work pretty well together, but then there are other things where the races are just too close together. And then when you have hurdles and you take the hurdles away and you just have like the 400-meter sprint, you would think that that would be very similar, but it's actually very different running style. Um, and so there's a lot that kind of goes into it. So she really has become a specialist with 400-meter hurdles. When she was younger, she ran some other stuff too. Now she's starting to get back into running other things, and so um, it's really, really, really exciting. So let's talk about when she starts as a kid running. She starts to get competitive, and then she gets to the elite ranks and everything. So she has the under 18 world record that still
Oh, wow.
stands for the 400-meter hurdles. Um, then she has the under 20 world record that still stands for the 400-meter hurdles. Um, and she has the top three fastest times ever for the
Oh,
400
wow.
meter hurdles. She set the world record for the 400-meter hurdles 6 different times. So set it,
That's
broke it,
crazy.
set it, broke it. Now others again have been pushing themselves, and that's why she has the top three. Out of the top 10 times, she has the top. She has 6 out of the top 10
Oh, wow.
that are hers. So when I say she is the best, I mean she is the best. Um, she was the first woman to run a sub 52-second 400-meter hurdles. She was the first woman to run sub 51 seconds with the 400-meter hurdles. And that's what's been so exciting to watch her progression. She's a 3-time Olympian, and again, to watch where she was. So Rio were that was her first games. Um, and she didn't medal in Rio. Um, but that was like her start. She at the time had just turned 17. And in track, um, your the people tend to be a little older. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody's super old, right, at the Olympics, but it's not like women's gymnastics where people typically are teens.
Yeah.
With track, they tend to skew a little bit older. So she was the youngest Team USA track member since like the early 80s or something.
Wow.
And so she was very young, and she even admitted like that when she got there, I think she thought that she was going to do better than she did, and but she didn't let it get her down. She let it light her fire.
Yeah.
She basically said, you know, people are here to win, and if I want to win, that just means I need to work harder. And so she was basically like, let's get to work. And
Cool.
so to see her progression, it's just been amazing. Um, so now, like I mentioned, she's a 3-time Olympian. She now has 4 gold medals. She doesn't have any other color medal. Like
That's crazy.
she has 4 golds. And so she's the only woman to ever win back-to-back Olympic golds in the 400-meter hurdles. She's the second person, well, and there's only 2 now, to have ever done it, male or female. So there was a man, also Team USA, who did it back in um, I think the 1956 and 1960 games. He did back-to-back golds in 400-meter hurdles. But so they're the only 2 who have ever done that. And they so a fairly new thing um, is they do a mixed um, relay where it's 2 men and 2 women, and it's the 4x400. So that's going to be the 400 flat. Which when you're not talking about hurdlers, it's just called the 400 meters or the 400-meter sprint. But when you're talking about a hurdler running it, you always say it's the 400 flat, which I think is kind of an interesting thing
Yeah.
because you kind of change your vernacular depending upon who you're talking about. Um, so even though she hasn't traditionally been a 400 flat runner, Team USA was like, "Yeah, I think that we should have her on this this relay." And actually, I'm sorry, I was saying that she was on the mixed relay, and that's wrong. She was on the 4x400 women's, not
Oh,
the
okay.
mixed one. So sorry about that. They probably should have her on the mixed one. Now that
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it, but I just yeah, no, that was my mistake. So the women's 4x4, and they've won gold in both of the times that she's been on that relay. And I know one of them. I'm pretty sure she had the fastest split. Um,
Wow.
and and so that I think really has kind of spurred her on to want to start running some of the others. And so she is pushing. She really wants to do both the 400 hurdles and the 400 flat. She also has been doing the 200, um, and she's been getting into like the 100, or well, I think it's 110 now, hurdles. Anyway, short. They call them short hurdles, which is interesting because it's not talking about the height of the hurdle. It is talking about the length of the race. So she has been branching out in like the professional circuit and everything. And so we'll see when she comes back to 2028, um, you know, how many she qualifies for and what she's able to fit in to her schedule. Because again, a lot of it all comes down to scheduling. But
Oh, yeah.
she has for the 400 flat, um, she has already, even though that's still like not her specialty. She hasn't set the world record yet, but she has the second fastest time ever.
That's wild.
Yeah. So
So it's just a matter of time until she
it,
has the top.
it
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And it's interesting because um I mean, I think that she has her sights on 2028, right? But then
Yeah.
of course, she and her husband decided to have a baby, which honestly, this is the perfect timing. They get to have the baby, they get to have time, then she gets to get back in shape. Like, and obviously I to me they did this, it was all very well designed and thought
Yeah.
out. But of course you already have people talking about like, oh well, I mean, if she even, can come back, and I just find that so interesting because again, back in the day, that was it. Like, oh, you're an
It's
athlete
career
or a
ending.
mom. There's
Yeah.
no yeah, there's no overlap there. I always I really strongly believe in what I call mom strength.
Oh,
Like I know because I have nephews. I don't have any kids of my own, but I remember when my nephews were young, like, having to hold a baby, like, they get heavy real fast.
oh, yeah.
And you see moms who are just like, baby in one arm and, like, 20 pounds of groceries in the other, and they're just like, that's just their everyday, you know? And, so I think that it's just wild that some people think that you can't do both and that being a mother somehow makes you a weaker athlete when all
Yeah.
I ever see is these women who have such strength that just comes out. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
feel like, living through pregnancy and then childbirth and then raising a human, if anything, it gives a woman more power and more strength because they've already lived through something difficult. Can't be that much harder to run a race. I mean, I'm not running a race, but for someone who already has that skill and athletic ability, I think she's good.
yeah. Well, you're not having a baby either. So
I'm
it's a
not.
little
I'm gonna step out of both of those things. I'm tapped out. Uh,
um, but yeah, so I have a theory
yeah.
that she's gonna come back and be better than ever.
Oh,
And
I
I
bet.
think
Yeah.
that a big part of that actually is gonna be that mom strength really kicking in. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
obviously, she already knows what she's doing, and she obviously trains just exceedingly well. Obviously, she comes from good genes,
Great
you
family.
know, her whole family and everything. But I do
Yeah.
think that she trains really well. Um, because the other thing, this is my favorite thing. Well, it's kind of twofold when I watch her race. And the first thing that I am just in awe of, because um, when you run, you're supposed to, your body is supposed to sort of be relaxed, like so that it can sort of flow, I guess, right? As you move. That's something that I've always struggled with. Even now when I'm just like walking, like as soon as I'm walking for exercise or if I'm just like in a hurry to get some like it's like my whole body just immediately just goes whoosh and gets really tight.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to keep loose. And when she runs, like her body is so relaxed is probably the wrong way, right, to say it because I mean, obviously her muscles are pumping and, you know,
Yeah.
like every
She's like in
muscle
a
is
flow state.
engaged. But yeah, I mean, like it's like it's almost like she's at peace while she's running, if that makes sense.
That does. That
Um,
sounds amazing. Yeah.
yeah. And so I love watching her run because her body is just so like and again, I think of her a lot when I'm walking because um sometimes I don't notice when my body tenses up, right? But if I do notice it, I'm like, you're not supposed to tense your body. Like you need to and then I'm always like, gotta be like Sydney, like figure out what she's doing. So yeah, it's really amazing to watch. But then my next thing that I love, and I have a feeling that her competitors hate is, you know, here they are. They're just racing to the finish, giving it all they've got. They get to the finish and like they are gassed, right? And you know, some people are like collapsing after the finish. Some they're all like, yeah, not Sydney.
She's like, "Let's do it again."
She well, I wouldn't go that far, although she probably could, but she typically, like, she finishes, she might, like, walk a little bit, and then she'll usually sit down. I mean, you can tell that she just put it all out there, but her breathing, while it's, you know, heavier than normal, it's not like she's not huffing and puffing at all,
Yeah.
like, she's immediately getting everything back in control, and I mean, you see people like coming to congratulate her and they're like, good job, you know,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Mm, thanks, you know, like,
Nonchalant.
like, I don't know how she does it, but I guess she just has such command over her body. And obviously she's incredibly fit.
Yeah.
That at the end, even though she just pushed herself to the limit, she's still like able to recover
Yeah.
so quickly. Like I said, I could only imagine that her competitors just hate her.
Oh,
I mean, in that moment, I'm sure she's actually I've seen, you know, on social media, she's really funny. So
yeah.
I'm sure as a person they love her. But in that moment, they're probably like, I don't understand.
Jealous.
Like you just did even faster and harder than what I just did, and you're fine. Like
Yeah.
get over it, you know. So yeah, I love that. You'll have to look at some of the clips of her finishes so that you can see the people gasping as they congratulate her, and then she's just all like, "Mm, thanks," you know.
We're
Just a
good.
stroll in the park. So yeah, um, I just again, she is one of those that is just a joy to watch, and the fact that she just continuously gets better and better. Like I said, she has so obviously she broke the world record and then she has broken her own like she, she 5 more times. So she said it 6 times.
Wow.
Um, and I just like to watch her get better and better. And I mean, at this point, I mean, oh my gosh, at one point she had, I don't even remember what the, but again, with the like professional circuit, I mean, she was like undefeated for like she had a streak. And, I guess, so at this point, it's almost like we're not watching to see, and boy, as I say this, I'm like, I am putting the biggest jinx of all
I was gonna say,
jinxes.
don't jinx her.
Um, I think she is above all jinxes though,
Good.
because she's just that good. But it's almost like you get to a point where you're not watching to see who wins. You're watching to see if Sydney beats herself. Like,
Yeah.
does she beat her last world record? Um, and I mean, what she is running in the 400-meter hurdles, some people can't even do in the 400 flat.
Oh, I
Like
imagine.
that's how fast she is. And so graceful. And I just keep thinking like again, the genes obviously are there, but it has to be her training as well.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I need to look in. I know her coach is Bob Percy, and he has had a lot of um, success with athletes, particularly with women. Like,
Yeah.
and we're going to talk about a, several of his athletes, including his wife. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so they're all on the list. We just haven't gotten to them yet. Um, but so I know that he obviously knows what he's doing. Um, but there's just something about her that she's just so at ease, and it's just like, I mean, she was clearly made to do
yeah.
what she's doing. Um, and I just am like, what is she doing, and how do I emulate that? I mean, obviously, I'm not going to do anywhere near what she's doing, but even just to get to where my body doesn't tense up when I am walking,
Oh, yeah.
like, how do you
I'll be
do that?
I'll be scrolling through my phone, and I'm just scrolling, and all of a sudden I'm like, realize that I'm like this. I'm like, why are you what is so dangerous that I feel the need to tense every muscle in my body? I'm like, okay, relax. And and then all of a sudden it slowly get back, and I can feel my shoulders in my ears. And I'm like, okay. So I can't imagine running a wild, crazy fast race without attention. I
Yeah,
just sit here and
but
I
she
attention.
does it.
Yeah.
She does
Maybe
it.
she
And again,
meditates. Maybe she goes to like a zone where she's just like,
well, and I was going to Google this earlier, and I have to admit I forgot. But um, another thing that I really enjoy. So, I mean, the cameras can be invasive.
yeah.
I appreciate the invasiveness as a fan watching, because you get those, up close and personal shots. But I have to admit, I think that if I was the athlete, I would not care for it. But um, what they do is, before the race starts, and um, the runners are in their lanes, and the announcers are announcing each one, one by one, and there's always like a camera person right there who goes to each lane, and super close up of the
Yeah.
person, and she does not pay attention to the camera at all. There are some athletes, and you can tell everyone does their own thing, but there are some that kind of ham it up with
Yeah.
the cameras. She does not do that. The camera does not exist to her. Um, she is focused, and she's always like she's saying something. And I meant to Google it to see if it's on record what she's saying, or that might be something that she doesn't share with anyone, because that
Yeah.
could be her own thing. But I don't know if she has a mantra, or if it's a prayer, or if she is saying the names of her competitors that she's gonna take down. I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that maybe that's part of what's getting her in the zone, and um she looks fierce in
yeah,
like and that's also kind of interesting because right when she's lining up and the camera is in her face, she looks super fierce. Like she looks like she's about to go to war. And then she gets in the blocks, gun goes off, she starts running, and then that's when all of that sort of washes away. And that's it's really interesting because I guess it kind of goes from looking fierce and ready for battle to just being fierce but easily being, you
yeah.
know? Like looking it
Like,
and being it are two very different things.
yeah, like they say, before any big event, especially athletics, you have to mentally be there before you can perform there. And so I think, a good portion of the battle is that confidence, that mental game of like, I am fierce. And then the ease of like, confidence is not shouted loudly. It's just sort of there and shown. And it sounds like she's just confident in her own ability and eases into that like run and that sort of flow state.
Yeah. You know, back when I was doing training, not athletic training, but actual in a classroom
Yeah.
training for work, um, I would kind of get in the zone for training. And it's it's kind of interesting because there's a weird overlap there where I guess it's, when you want to be on,
Yeah.
like you have whatever you do. And so I had a whole thing, and this probably also goes back to my athletic background, but when I was going to train before it was time um, to let people in, I would shut the door, lock it. I would listen to music. I had a series of stretches that I would go through, and then I had a series of like jumps that I would do.
Yeah.
To kind of, I guess, loosen my body up and to get prepared. Um, so now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, why don't I do that when I walk? Maybe
That
that's
could
what's
help,
missing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what it is, your warm up,
I got to start
your
doing
prep.
doing a warm up and get
Yeah,
into it.
yeah. As you know, I used to do, like, theater and some comedy and improv, and we had warm-ups before each show or whatever, and I will use some of my improv warm-ups before I go and play pool because it's a similar, like, shaking it out, you know, just getting your body sort of loose and warmed up and like out of your head because we hold so much of that tension or whatever in our bodies and it helps me. I mean, it helps me in, like I think there's so many like preparation type activities that could help in anything in life that
Yeah,
requires some sort of like being on or in the moment.
yeah.
So I get that. I'm back before I play Bumblebee Bumble. No, I'm not doing that, but I am shaking it out a little bit.
Well, yeah, and I
Uh,
think that would be very helpful with pull and
yeah,
steadying your hands, and then also just getting in the zone. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I
'Cause
guess
there's
for
always
really
so much noise and people and it's loud and I just get laser focused. So I imagine with the crowd and the cameras, not quite as similar, but you know what I mean? On a much grander scale, there's so much going on that they kinda have to be in their own world, zoned in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I I assume, but I wanna ask, you're playing pool, I assume, like, in a pool hall/bar?
Yeah, yeah. So I play at a pool league, and so we play weekly, and it's competitive. And it's usually bars or locations that serve liquor, and so there's generally a lot of people. It's loud. Sometimes they bump into you. You have to say a little like excuse me. But yeah, so you just kind of have to try and zone out the world.
I was about to ask, like, has there ever been someone disruptive? Maybe they part have partaken in a little too much?
Well, okay, quick story time. It was a couple of weeks ago, and it wasn't to me, but I was there because there's several pool tables, and there's different teams on each table. And this guy, I ended up having to call the cops. He was so drunk. Yeah, he came and he took someone's stick right out of their hands. These are hundreds to thousands of dollars pieces of equipment.
Yeah,
And he took, because it wasn't a bar cue, he took it out of her hand. And then they were like, no, 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 you can't do that. And he started trying to play with the balls. Again, they're in the middle of uh, a game that's a competitive game. And then someone tried to grab it back from him and he started like fighting with it. And so finally they got the stick out. They got him outside. There's a lot of men in pool. There's women in our league. We have to have at least 2 women on each team. Each team is 6. So it's a majority men, and all of the men were like standing outside, blocking the door, and he would not leave. And his buddy kept trying to drag him out to leave. He would not leave. I ended up calling the cops because I was like, "How long is this going to go on? Like, someone's going to get hurt because either he's going to try to throw a punch or someone's going to try to be brave." And I'm like, I don't want to see any of that. Cops came, took him. He was fine. But my adrenaline was pumping, and I played so good after that.
oh, well, see?
I was like, "This is gonna be so hard," but I think it ramped me up, and I, like, shot super well.
Yeah, well, now you know. You need to figure out how to get your adrenaline going.
Get a crazy person in each week, yeah.
Now, you kind of were mimicking, and, you said that he started fighting with, so he was using the pool stick as, like, a bow staff?
Yeah, he was like, yeah, he was
Like, he
trying
was
to.
like Donatello from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Exactly. I think he was more so trying to keep it and not let people take it, but it sure looked like he was like, "Ah, ah," you know? And that's at first I was like, "Okay, this is not gonna go well," and they got him outside, but then it just his friend would drag him away, and then he'd come back, all puffed up, like, probably at least 6 or 7 times before I called the cops. It was pretty fast. I'm like,
And
"Is no one else
like,
calling the cops?"
the staff wasn't intervening at all?
They were watching. Uh, I mean, to be fair, like, I think the bartender on duty was, like, a maybe 5 foot tall, like, 20-something woman, which
Mhm.
I think they all thought they had it handled because there was a bunch of dudes there, but I didn't want anyone to get hit. I didn't want him to get hit. I didn't want them to get hit. I
Yeah,
was like, "This guy needs to go." So, they came. The cops were really fast. They even told him, "Dude, just go with your friend, go home, and you won't be arrested." And he still wouldn't, and they're like, "Alright, I guess you're gonna have to go in handcuffs then." So,
wow. Well, that's a wild night.
it was fun. I mean, it was anxiety, a lot of anxiety, and then it was fun after
Yeah. But I feel like we need to think of an adrenaline rush that you can get that doesn't involve another person attacking you or
that.
stealing other people's, belongings. But there's gotta be something. There's gotta be
Yeah,
something that will just, ooh, get
get
you
that
going.
panic right up, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go shopping at Walmart first, then I'll be good. Walmart is quite the experience.
That can be.
Yeah,
That, is almost a sport in of itself.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so, okay, now we know that you're an adrenaline junkie,
I guess
even
I am,
yeah, even though I don't think that you would have ever said that about yourself, but proof has been made.
obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but then so you talked about your warm-ups and shaking it out and everything. Pool also requires a lot of focus.
Yeah,
Um, Sydney obviously focused right before, like I said, and chanting whatever. I don't
yeah.
know if chanting is the right. She's definitely saying
Some
something,
sort
but
of, like, verbal something, yeah.
yeah, and definitely getting her mind super focused. So what do you do to get your mind like on point?
I actually do have some, like, pool warm-ups, and so they're just things that I've been taught over time or, like, looked up and, uh, practicing some skills, but also at, like, short levels so that I pocket the balls every time, and then in my head, I'm like, "Yeah, I pocketed the ball." And so then it kinda just builds that, like, mental confidence a little bit, practices the skills for the night, and then that's pretty much it, and then I sometimes will say to myself I will chant to myself, "Don't F it up, don't F it up, don't F it up." And then I shoot, and I'm usually pretty good.
Hey, there you go. If it works for you, then that's great. Um, it that is a little on the more it's not a negative, but, it is the instead of it being the "you're going to do great," it's
Yeah.
the "don't do badly." So a little bit
Perhaps
different,
I
but
might shift that one of these times and just see if the
yeah,
outcome shifts as
see if
well.
it works. But again, whatever works for you is
Yeah.
and I think everything's gonna be different. It always amazes me, when people neglect the mental side
Yeah.
of, well, I mean, anything, but especially with sports. I mean, the focus is always so much on the physical,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that makes it makes sense from a spectator side, from a commentator side, because that's what we're all watching. But the mental aspect is so key. And like I know I've seen you know, been to different sporting events and stuff. And a good friend of mine back in the day, I actually went with her quite a bit to her daughter's high school volleyball games. And I played volleyball in high school. And it was very easy to recognize that their team had a lot of skill, but when things started going wrong, they would fall apart.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked, I was like, "What do y'all do for like the mental side?" Of course, there was nothing. And that's something that I will always appreciate from my volleyball coach when I was in high school is that she actually put a really big focus on the mental aspect. And in fact, we would have portions of practice and we would definitely do it before games. She actually called it mental. And we would do focus exercising and she would walk us through like visualizing, a dig or a set or, whatever. And, a lot of people on the team didn't appreciate it. Um, Everybody did it. Uh,
Yeah.
but I will say, I think some people took it more to heart than others. But um, it it was something that I have taken with me. Um, and I remember when I was in college and I was taking like freshman psychology, and of course you can get like credit if you volunteer for different like psych experiments. And so I signed up for one, and what it was, I was in a room by myself, and there was like a image being projected on the wall, and then they put my hand into like an ice bucket, and then they changed the image, and then I think there might have even been some like electric shocks in the ice bucket. There was a lot going on. I'm not sure how safe it was, but I made it through unscathed.
You
Um,
got your extra credit.
yeah, and of course, after the fact, I start wondering like what was the purpose? And you have to fill out a like a questionnaire after, about it, and they kind of tell you like you can take your hand out at any time, like, and then the experiment's over. And I really think that it was actually to figure out sort of almost like a who's a competitive person and who wants to keep their hand in this ice bucket the whole time. And I think it probably had nothing to do with the images. And actually, mine got stuck on the same image and it was blurry and I couldn't even tell what it was. Which, again, I'm sitting there and I'm like, is that what is like, is that on purpose? Because, when you're volunteering for some sort of psych
Uh,
experiment, you question everything.
yeah, you don't know what
Uh,
part is part of it.
Yeah. But I remember, I mean, I made it the whole time. I kept my hand in that ice bucket the whole
Yeah.
time. And, and then I had to fill out the questionnaire, and I remember one of the things that I mentioned was these mental exercises that I learned from high school volleyball. And that's when it sort of clicked, and I was like, "Oh, I think that's what the experiment was." It was actually just about, like, why someone would stay, and is it a competitive thing, and because that it was for me. Because and I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of how they, like, posed it, but it felt like it would, like, you were a wimp if you pulled your hand out, you know what
Too
I
bad you
mean?
can't find, like, some notes on that study and see if, like, they whatever the conclusion was.
Yeah, I would be interested, but yeah, I'm sure that it wasn't. I mean, it was like, I don't know if it was psych grad students or even just like, juniors and seniors, but it was other students. It wasn't like our professor.
Yeah,
Um,
that's still interesting.
mhm,
Maybe they knowing that you're all psych students saying, "Okay, well, who's what? Who does what now?"
yeah. Okay, now I have to tell another story from that class. So, freshman psychology is something that almost everybody takes, right?
Yeah,
And I went to Texas A&M, which is a very large university, and so we're talking the big, auditorium classrooms with, probably like 400 people in a class, right?
yeah.
So um, a friend of mine and I were in the same class, and we were on like we were close. We would sit close to the front because we were nerds. Um, um, but anyway, so one day the professor kind of gave a brain teaser. Okay. And so she said that, it's like you and a few other people, and you're locked in a room. And there are no windows. There's only one door. It's locked on the outside, and you're not going to be let out until you figure out this puzzle. And in the middle of the room, okay, and it's like concrete floors, like everything is concrete. You can't like bust into anything, right? Can't bust out, can't bust in, nothing. But in the middle of the floor, there is a PVC pipe that is about 2 feet long, but 1 foot is below floor level and 1 foot is above. And it is stuck, like it is stuck. At the bottom of the PVC pipe, there is a ping pong ball. Okay. In order to be let out of the room, you have to get the ping pong ball out. Okay. The the PVC pipe diameter is basically the same size as the ping pong ball. It doesn't move side to side, but it can move up and down. You have a rope, a saw, and a hammer. How do you get the ping pong ball out?
Okay. My
So
first thought as you're telling me is, like, somehow crush it, but now I'm lost with the rest of the tools in your kit.
we can't crush it because I mean,
You wouldn't be
it,
able to with those tools. I was thinking
yeah,
if you had some sort of long, like, skinny dowel or something, you crush it, but, yeah, with a hammer won't fit, the rope's not gonna do anything.
right.
What was the other item?
A saw,
Yeah,
a saw.
how are you gonna get a saw? I mean, you could saw the pipe, but then you still have a foot underground.
Yeah. Well, so I solved it immediately. Okay.
Fill me in.
And so I kind of like I muttered it to my friend, but because we were close to the front, the professor was like, "What did you say?" And I said, "Well, you get everyone to pee in the pipe because ping pong balls
Oh,
float."
it can go through the okay. Ew, but okay.
Yeah, and so I was like, I mean, you would probably saw it down as short as you can so you don't have as much to fill up, but then you just pee in it. And she was like, "That is right." And then she goes on to say that in her entire teaching career, she has given that brain teaser every single class, and no one has ever gotten it. And at this point, I realize that I am a genius. And so I am
Obviously.
celebrating. My friend is a genius by proxy.
Yeah.
And we literally did a chest bump to celebrate in this giant auditorium with like 400 other kids. And then the bad part is that we didn't wait for the professor to finish, because then she said, because in order to get that right, you have to be a social deviant.
Alicia, the social deviant.
Yeah. And I
That's your
was
new
like,
tagline. Uh,
which did, but I was like, whatever, you give me a problem, I'm going to solve it. Okay.
you're
Like,
solution
that's
oriented. That's what I hear.
exactly. I'm
Yeah.
here to be focused and to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I don't care what she says about me being a social deviant. All I know is I got us out of that locked room.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I
Anyway, I guess you're not a social deviant because you thought it was gross when I said it.
I well, yeah, and I yeah. Yes, I did.
I mean, I don't not think it's gross. Like,
I
obviously,
don't know
it is
about that.
gross. Well, I'm telling
Well, so just to clarify, at first I imagined the ball was too fat to go through too. I think I may have
you.
stopped listening halfway through. I'm not gonna lie. I sometimes
No. Okay, I am long winded. I get it.
well, I have the ADHD, so I got 2 seconds in and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm with you," and then I'm not with you. But
Yeah.
I still don't think I would have thought of pee. I think that's great. I think like I said, it's solution oriented. You solve the problem. Everyone was able to relieve themselves because honestly, that's my first worry. If an elevator breaks down, I'm like, where am I going to be? Like
Right.
panic sets in immediately. So you solved two problems, really.
Mm, exactly. I'm a problem solver. That's all there
Yeah,
is to it.
yeah,
Solving problems left and right. So,
and a social deviant apparently.
well, hey, aren't we all? Aren't we all?
I mean, yeah. So did what happened after that? Like, did the class just move on, or
Yeah,
were
that
they
was pretty
now
much it.
afraid of
I
you,
mean, everyone
or
kind of laughed a little bit, and then I was like, "Hmm," 'cause it really
was
took the wind out of my sails. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm pretty sure that is the one and only chest bump I've ever
uh,
done in my entire life. But it was so exciting.
uh,
Like, I mean, imagine I'm sitting there and this lady has just said that no one has ever gotten it
hundreds,
right.
thousands even of students.
Yeah,
I do
no
have to
one has
ask
gotten it right.
though, was that riddle before or after the psychological test?
It was before, not correlated at all.
That you know of.
That I know of, yeah. They might have been like, "We want her for the ice bucket."
Look, I'm not gonna lie. When you first said put your hand in an ice cold bucket of water, I'm like, I'd probably pee my pants. So I feel like it's correlated.
Yeah. You're like, "Alright, my hand's in the bucket, but where's the pipe to pee in?"
I clearly have a lot of anxiety about where bathrooms are.
Well, okay, back when I played rugby,
Yeah.
I that was a fear that I had. I'm like, someone is gonna tackle me, and it's gonna make me, pee or something else. Like, they're gonna hit me right in the right, and that so that my pre-game ritual for rugby was find a bathroom, go to the bathroom, because you don't want anything in you when you get
Yeah.
tackled. No one that to my knowledge, no one, at least on my team, ever had that issue. But for me, I just kept thinking it's
What if it
bound to
happened?
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was like it was a given that it would happen at some
Yeah.
point. Fortunately, it never happened, but I just knew. So I get it. I also can have that
It's a
kind
real
of
fear.
uh
I wonder- There's probably a name for it. Toilet
yeah,
phobia or something.
the name for it is social deviant. Okay. If you're that worried about bathroom issues, you might be a social deviant.
Oh, yeah, that's probably accurate.
Oh man. But anyway, back to, sports and the mental and physical aspects.
Yeah,
Um that yeah, I think having that focus, but then again, like I said, I have to figure out how to, and I'm not even competing in anything at this point, but yeah, I got to figure out how to
loosen
actually
up.
shore up both ends, right?
Yeah.
I mean, got to get to a point. We already talked about how you know lean into sometimes the sweets and sometimes the sauce.
Yeah,
Um,
gotta get that
but
sauce.
yeah, need to figure out like how to better, cope with things on the mental side, but then also just to, be able to focus. I mean, I have ADHD as well,
Yeah,
and sometimes that is a struggle.
because we said that, I do have to quick story time of today. I went to the doctor and they're like, "Here, fill out all of these forms. Just go back in the office." And then so I did, and in filling them out, they call me back, take my blood pressure, leave the room, and then I do Duolingo. So then start working on my Spanish in Duolingo, and then I start playing games, and then I'm about to leave after I have my doctor's visit, and the forms are sitting right there, untouched. Like, how did I forget about my forms within like 2 minutes of her taking my blood pressure? So it is a real thing.
Well, why
Maybe
didn't they remind you to do what's the purpose of the forms if they're not asking for them? Do they
well, she
really
said
need the
hand them
forms?
on the way out. You can complete them and
Oh,
then hand them. So I just quickly filled it out. I
gotcha.
also forgot to sign a bunch of stuff, so I had to stick around and sign. I was like, then I was rushing because I was panicked. That's what I just need to go to the doctor before I go play pool.
There
That
you
was
go.
quite a
Yeah,
rush.
that'll give you the rush you need, and then just sinking shots all
Yeah,
over the place.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, I used to also when I was in high school and I did track. Um, I didn't really have any. I don't think I had anything for when I was doing my running events, which is interesting. But I also threw shot put and discus. Um, and I had a kind of a routine that I would do. I would actually do really short sprints and then I would do push ups to get like, oh, to where I really want to throw very far. Um, and then if I did not throw very far, I would get very mad at myself. And then I had another routine that I would do, which was to stomp off and basically say cuss words to myself.
That's yeah. That's
It wa
okay.
there was one track meet where I was very sick, but I was still competing. It was the district track meet, and I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. I had an ear infection in both ears. I had a
Oh,
respiratory infection. I mean, like, it was all bad, like, um and that left me weak. And I start to do my warm up, do my sprints. I go to do my push ups. I get only do like 2 push ups, and then I was like, "Ooh, I gotta stop." And so I didn't throw as far as I had been, and so I was very upset. And so I was off doing my thing, and our coach kind of like called everyone to sort of like huddle up and whatever. And so, but I didn't hear because I'm all cussing
cursing
myself out.
yourself. Yeah.
And so one of my teammates was like, "Oh, do you want me to go get Alicia?" And he was like, "Oh, no, no, I do not bother Alicia when
Uh,
she's doing her thing. Just let her be. That's the
that
best
that
for
was your
everyone."
after after match routine was to cuss yourself out.
Well, that was in the middle. In the middle,
Oh, in the middle.
like,
Uh,
yeah, because I was like, "Oh, you didn't do good enough, and you need to
uh,
do better." And but yeah, he was like, "Whoa, no, 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 we don't need to bother Alicia."
she's
He might
good.
have been scared of me. I
Yeah,
mean, probably
it
because he
kinda
heard I was
sounds
a
like
social deviant.
I was gonna say, that's why.
I beat you to it.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, so there's all sorts of things that I have done in the past. And I mean, again, even like I mentioned with training, I actually did. I had stretches, and I've told other trainers that, and they all thought that that was very weird. And I'm like, no, it's not weird
it's
at all.
pretty
Um,
normal to me.
but I mean, again, like, and I didn't say, well, you need to do stretches. No, I'm like, this is what works for me. This is
Yeah,
what gets me loose, and it gets me in the zone and ready. But yeah, so I mean, I've had different things that I do. I'm trying to think now. I don't I don't. This is going to sound sad, and I'm starting to kind of second guess myself. But I'm like, I don't know that there's anything that I'm doing lately that I have needed to psych myself up for. So, huh, maybe that's something missing in my life. I don't
yeah.
know.
Maybe you need a challenge, like a 5K or something.
Ooh, that seems like too many Ks.
I'm not actually sure how long a 5K is, but I know I'm not interested.
It's a little over 3 miles. I think.
Of straight running?
Yeah,
I'm good. But you, on the other hand,
yeah. Me on the well, I guess actually, as we're talking about this, the whole thing is that I do want to lose the 50 pounds, and I do
yeah,
want to get healthier, and I do want to get more fit. And so I guess I do need to start like psyching myself up
yeah,
and doing, like before I do workouts, and maybe push myself harder, and, see where it goes. I have started a couple of new things that I do. I always I've got my dogs, and we always have like one final go to the backyard for potty before we go to bed. And so when I'm out in the backyard waiting for them to do their business, I have an app on my phone that is a 30-day squat challenge. And
oh,
so I'll do however many squats it tells me to do for that day. And then I also do like 50 calf raises where I just lift on my toes.
yeah,
So I'm kind of, I guess I'm in a mindset of where I'm like, okay, this is something that I really want to do. I want to lose the weight. I want to get healthier. And so how do I fit it into my life? Because
yeah.
quite frankly, that's something that we haven't really talked about um, at all. But there's a lot of time that goes into this,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and so I'm trying to figure out like, okay, how do I keep progressing, but also make it part of like seamlessly fit into my life. And so that's one thing that I have figured out. It's like, okay, this is something that I'm going to do every single night. So why not also do quick exercise?
Oh, yeah. Similarly, sort of, when I use the microwave, I will do some squats because I'm like, 2, 3, 5 minutes. Now I don't do it the whole time, but I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity while I'm waiting in 4 to do something. So I'll do some squats or some arm raises or something. And so it's just one way to get something in.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
All right. I know when, it's been several years ago, but we've mentioned it, at least touched on it, but I did lose a lot of weight at one point. And um, one of the things that I did back then, and I'm not quite there yet, but I had this idea that I should be in constant movement or constant motion. And so, like sitting at my desk for work, I actually got a little, it wasn't great, but it was something that I did a little bit, a little like exercise bike thing
Yeah, little
that,
pedals, yeah.
yeah. So I did that again. I don't know. I have weird body movements. And so if I'm doing my legs, then my whole body is like,
No,
oh, which
same though.
makes it
Yeah.
like honestly, so okay, have you ever done the elliptical machine?
Yes.
Like I think the whole purpose of an elliptical is that it's supposed to be very fluid motion, designed the way bodies move naturally, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That that is not my experience on an elliptical. Did you I don't know, did you watch Friends very much? The show Friends?
No, not a ton.
Okay. Well, there's this one episode where Phoebe is running, and it's a whole running thing through the show, and she runs like a complete weirdo, and she's like flailing her arms, and you
Yeah.
know, and it ends up like it's a fun thing, but it's also super weird. That's what I'm like on an elliptical. Like it's supposed to be very natural and fluid, but I'm on elliptical and I'm like, like
Well, like,
it
anytime
doesn't
I
work.
see people, like, watching TV on their phone or reading a book, I'm like, on any athletic treadmill, the bike, the elliptical, I'm like, "How are you doing that?" Because I'm like, I'm getting motion sick. I can't look at the phone that long without wanting to throw up because I'm bobbling. So
Yeah, well, see,
I am
okay.
right. Maybe it's us. I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know.
it is us because you're not supposed to do that. So no offense. It's something that I know about myself. I don't want to take you down with me. But yeah,
Gotta
you're
learn
not
how to not
supposed
bobble
to. Yeah, because and again, going back to Sydney McLaughlin
when her
Levrone,
flow state. Yeah.
and yeah, when she's running, like I mean, not only is her body at ease, but also she has really good posture, and again, it's just flowing, and it looks very natural. I don't think, especially well, on an elliptical, I don't look natural at all, for sure.
Well, so here's my I walk to the bathroom and I look like I'm drunk sometimes. I'm just like, "Do, do, 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 do," and I haven't been drinking. I am just walking. God forbid I get pulled over for a field sobriety test because I'm not passing the walk a straight line. I can't not bobble in everyday life. So
I don't even drink anymore, and yet that is one of my greatest fears. Because I'm like, what if I'm
right?
just having a bad driving? What if a squirrel comes out in the road and I swerve, and a police officer doesn't see the squirrel and thinks
Yeah.
that I'm driving erratically, and then they want to make me like walk a line and then like touch my nose? Like, no.
No. And
In
don't
fact,
ask me to say the alphabet backwards because
oh
I
no.
probably could, but not under pressure.
Well, even when there's not pressure, I'm gonna have to like think about
See.
it. I mean, it's
Uh,
yeah. I got a massage not too long ago, and it was a special massage, and where it's supposed to. It's a myofacial
okay.
release, or I don't know if I'm saying it right. But uh, I didn't know this, but maybe this also could be part of why I look like a weirdo on an elliptical. But I'm on the table, and the therapist was like, "Oh, okay," and he like pulls my legs up, and he's like putting my feet next to each other to kind of see. And when he did it, I it was very apparent, like where that my feet weren't lining up, and I was like,
Oh.
"Oh, that's interesting." And so he had me like put my thumbs on my hips, and then like put them like bring them together, and then they didn't meet. And so it was a whole thing to show me that basically my hips were misaligned. Anyway, he fixed it, and then all of a sudden it was all aligned. But then he was like, "Now put your thumbs on your hips and put them together." And like, it's like, where have my hips gone? All of a sudden, when I don't have someone guiding me, I'm like, "Where do you want my thumbs? Is this where you want them?" And he's like, "Oh no, let me just grab your hands and guide you." So again, you try to tell me to touch my nose. It's not going to happen. I'm going to forget
Yeah.
where my nose is.
Right?
Yeah,
Well, I think it's somewhere in this area, but
right. I mean, does it have to be my finger? Can I just my whole hand? Oh, touched it,
fine.
passed. Uh, Yeah, we
We're
might both
immediately
have some
arrested.
issues that we need to work through.
Yeah. It sounds
But
like, yeah, more issues than I thought. So
we are learning more and more issues,
that's great.
which is now giving us both anxiety about the number of issues.
Yeah.
This is where the mental game becomes so
It's
important.
fine. Everything's fine.
So yeah, both physical and the mental,
Yeah.
and then just to be just a freaking badass where you can set a world record and have people huffing and puffing to congratulate you, and you're just
Yeah.
like smiling, like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. That was it.
That's yeah, that's what man, to be that awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Here's how I think, th- like, to relate myself
Yeah.
to Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, which again should not happen because she's well beyond my league. But okay, when I was in high school and I was on the track and I was a thrower, um, shot put and discus, but then I also was a runner. So I ran sprints and like it became popular to have, they called it the either the Iron Man or the Iron Woman relay, and that's where you get your throwers to run a 4x100 relay.
Mm.
And my coach would never let me run in it because she didn't think that that was right because I was a sprinter,
Oh, okay.
even
Yeah.
though I also was a thrower. But there was one track meet that we went to, and this particular school, they didn't have good, they didn't have anyone who was good at throwing. So the coach would put sprinters in the throwing events so that they could win the Iron Woman. Like, this is no joke. This is crazy to say out loud, but this is literally what this coach was doing. And I mean, obviously, well, I assume if they had anyone that was good at shot put or discus, that they would still have them throw so that they could possibly win those events, but they just didn't have anyone. So this was her kind of tactic, I guess.
Yeah.
So when we were at their school, when they were hosting the track meet, my coach was like, "You want to run the relay?" And I was like, "Yes." And so, of course, she put me as the anchor. You always, in well, it depends on the different relays, but in a 4x1, you really want your anchor to be, the fastest. And so, my team starts, and we are neck and neck, really, like with this this other team who's hosting, who again tries to stack their team. And so it gets to me and I take off. Like, I mean, if I have ever run faster in my life, I cannot name the time because for whatever reason I was like, I am going to do it this time. And so, I mean, I just took off. When I crossed the finish line, I would say the next person was at least 30 feet behind me, if
Oh, wow.
not farther. And I'm only running for, or not feet, meters.
Yeah.
Uh, and like, I mean, I blew everyone out. And let me tell you, I felt amazing. And I think that must be how Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone feels
Oh, yeah.
every time she races.
It's like that moment you did the chest bump before you realized you were a social deviant.
Yes, thanks for bringing that back up. Yes, that was an amazing moment for a few seconds, and then it all came crashing down.
But that feeling is what you wanna embody and go back to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that feeling. That's when it's all clicking and
Yeah.
you're going. So That's what I would feel like for sure
Yeah,
if I become a torchbearer, which
which
the nominations are still not open.
okay.
I will keep you posted, but that feeling would be the best feeling in the
Oh,
world.
yeah. We gotta get you
So,
there. We will.
yeah,
We're gonna
yeah,
it in the universe, the mental game, you will be a torch.
yes. I'm going to envision it. It's going to happen. I'm going to manifest it,
Yeah.
and I'm going to train physically. I'm going to keep my little 5 pound dumbbell as I'm walking and jogging and getting ready. Because again, it is important to have both sides, to have the mental side, have the physical side. That's how
Yeah.
we're going to get to where we're going. Now, I already gave the spoiler alert that I did not weigh in today.
Yeah.
But do you have any updates that you want to give?
I did get weighed today when I was at the doctor, and
At the
less
doctor
than
not doing your forms?
yeah, I did forget the forms. But we finished the forms, got them all settled. Hopefully everything's good enough. But I did get weighed, and it was less than I thought it would be given the fact that it was an afternoon appointment. I had eaten and drank. I had clothes on. I was not naked. And I had a full bladder. Again, worried about where I'm gonna pee, but it was less than I thought it would be. So I was obviously like 25 pounds less than the number displayed on the scale.
Obviously. I
Uh,
mean, yeah, all of
but
that adds up, especially the full bladder.
yeah. So yeah, so that was a
Scanning the
success.
floor for a pipe sticking out that might
Yeah.
have a ping pong ball that needs rescuing.
I'm never gonna see PVC pipes the same.
Well,
Uh,
I don't know if I should apologize or if I should say you're welcome.
little bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, you
Uh,
were worried about where to go to the bathroom, and now you know. Any PVC
any
pipe can
PVC
be
pipe.
a bathroom.
Oh, that's a dangerous idea.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we've maybe gotten off track a bit with
Just
that,
a little.
but maybe we haven't. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But that's awesome that because I know those doctor weigh-ins are one of those things where it's like, oh, it's gonna be, but then you're psyching yourself up. You're like, I know it's gonna be higher because yeah, I've got the clothes on. I've had
Yeah.
food. I've all the things, and so that's awesome that it wasn't as high as you thought.
Yeah. It's a win.
Again, shows that we're moving in the right direction. And even though I totally forgot to weigh in, I will say that I'm feeling good, and
Yeah.
so I think that's a win.
Oh, yeah.
I like the fact that I have added in these sort of like short, quick exercises on the evening bathroom break with the dogs. So that's going to be my focus is fitting in things. Maybe I'll get back in the mindset, like I mentioned before, of sort of this idea of being in constant motion.
Yeah.
Um, which a lot of times, like when I had a long commute at that point, and so I would play music and I would dance in my car,
Oh, yeah.
and like I didn't care who else saw me in rush hour gridlock. I was like, I'm dancing because I'm losing weight. So yeah, maybe I'll get back to that constant motion,
Yeah.
and because again, fitting it to our lives makes it that much more attainable.
Oh, yeah. And it all adds up. It all will help in the end goal.
Yeah, for sure. And if anyone listening has any ideas of how we can fit exercise into our lives and not make our lives revolve around it, but actually to fit it into our lives, let us know. We appreciate the support that you give us. Also, if you have any mental tricks or tips, let us know those too,
Yeah.
because again, it's both sides of the coin that we need to look at. And again, we appreciate you coming along for the ride because you definitely help us move faster, reach higher, be stronger together. And with that, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.